Yeah, we're at the track covering the Sport of Kings. Coming up, a crack 8-horse field for Jamaica's Gold Cup, and the winner raises his stocks for the rich Mouttet Mile in December. Barbadians headliners again in Canada at Woodbine. The veteran Patrick Bummel husbands with a stakes triumph and a flurry of wins, including a Saturday hat-trick for the new kid on the block, Slade Jones, and another jockey's title in Canada for Christopher Chin's husbands. The Barbadian repeats as the Fort Erie champion. Let's kick things off in Jamaica. Fans liking what they saw from the Garissa trained Super 3-year-old filly Atomica, a heavy favourite with leading jockey Dane Dawkins up after her 8-length Derby win and 6.5-length triumph in the I Am Satisfied trophy. In the toolbox, Atomica is a 2-5 favourite. Trainer Sobrati eyeing back-to-back Gold Cup wins after his 14-1 upset score with Calculus in 2021. Notable betting support too for number 1 Jordan Reigns at 5-2 and his Ian Prasad stablemate Mahogany at 5-1 in position 6. Number 4 Runaway Algo also at 5-1, and the 5-horse last month's None Such Stakes winner I Am Fred at 7-1. Let's get that race call now from Brand Rickman OD.
They're off for the Gold Cup. An almost perfect start as they make their way down the back stretch and sort themselves out on the run toward the 6. And She's My Destiny is the pacemaker. She's out in front, just the leader. She's a Wonder is showing speed out wide as they charge down the far side, and She's a Wonder and She's My Destiny, they go at it up front. Atomica settled back in third just off them. Jordan Reigns is in touch in fourth. Mahogany moving down on the outside. A break back to Runaway Algo running differently today off the fractions. I Am Fred races up next, and toward the back of the field it's the grey race car as the tempo will increase on the run now, passing the 7:16. She's a Wonder, just the leader. She's My Destiny pressing. Mahogany in a good spot. Atomica waiting right there on the rail. There goes Runaway Algo now beginning to make ground. Atomica has faded back quickly, overtaken by I Am Fred, and at the back of the field it's race car, but they're coming into the lane of the Gold Cup, and Mahogany with the top weight in the middle now grabs that lead. Runaway Algo trying to close the gap. She's My Destiny has cried enough. Jordan Reigns has a lot to do from there. It is Mahogany. The left-hand stick now being used profusely as they run past the furlong pole. Mahogany with the lead. He's stretching it a bit. Runaway Algo is trying his best, but this Mahogany is huge. Mahogany and Rayan Lewis will take the Gold Cup in fine style over Runaway Algo.
Easily fending off the lightly weighted Runaway Algo under left-handed whipping from jockey Rayan Lewis. Mahogany logs his 4th win from 6 starts this year. Rayan Lewis aboard the gelding for the first time ever. Lewis on a good run in recent months, had a September 17 4-timer, a triple on the 8th of October, and has had no winless race days in October. The 22-year-old jock says the win was straightforward, although his connections grappled with a 5-year-old shouldering top weight of 126 pounds, representing a handicap disadvantage ranging from 11 to 25 pounds against his 7 rivals.
I just break him and put him in a good position, and half mile, I just take time, move him, and on the top of the lane, I ask him for everything.
My understanding was that he would just be in the race, but not too far behind, not up front, but not too far behind, and go for them at the 4, which is exactly what Ryan did. He rode a beautiful race. This is certainly the most pleasing win. He was handicapped, in my opinion, out of the race, and I mean that's just a display of pure heart today. He gave weight all around to horses that had beaten him.
Mahogany, the 2020 2000 Guinness runner-up, commanding in victory by 3 lengths at 5-1 odds, chased in vain by Runaway Algo, also at 5-1. I Am Fred third at 7-1. The odds-on favourite Atomica only 5th after a less than smooth race. The winning time for 7 furlongs, 1 minute 25 3/5 for jockey Lewis and trainer Ian Prasad's first Gold Cup win. On the strength of this effort, Mahogany now grabs the tag of favourite for the rich Mouttet Mile on the 3rd of December, and trainer Prasad is targeting the major slice of that $125,000 US purse.
We'll probably run him once, maybe twice for the rest of the year, and we'll take it from there, and hopefully he'll keep sound for the Mouttet Mile, because that is the main objective for everybody.
Yeah, big win that by Mahogany. And when racing continues on Saturday at Caymanas, the start of the Supreme Ventures 2-year-old Triple Series, the Cashpot Only One For Me trophy. Let's go now to Canada's Woodbine, where the Barbados veteran Patrick Beaumelle Husbands continues to reel in those stakes wins. 348 added money wins now for the 49-year-old in North America after Sunday's victory in the Ontario Damsel Stakes.
Husbands had already won the Ontario Damsel 3 times, though none since 2012, and in the red cap aboard the favourite Super Hoity-Toity for champion trainer Mark Cassie outpaced down the backstretch until he roused the 3-year-old filly to go third, heading for the home stretch.
3 to Super Hoity-Toity's been ridden along here the entire trip, and as they come down to the final quarter, Love to Run, dangerous to Crystal Ship, who started to tire, and after them Super Hoity-Toity gathering some ground. Love to Run alongside Crystal Ship, and down the outside Super Hoity-Toity, here she comes. Super Hoity-Toity after Love to Run and Crystal Ship on the inside. Love to Run, and now Super Hoity-Toity down the outside, coming with her menacing run and a winning run. Super Hoity-Toity, she's just too classy and comes away to win the Ontario Damsel with something left.
3 wins and 4 starts in 2022 now for Super Hoity-Toity. All added money wins: the Celine Stakes, the Ontario Colleen, and now the Ontario Damsel for 3-year-old fillies, clocking 143.44 for the mile and 16th trip. 4th win this in the Ontario Damsel for Husbands, boosting his stakes tally to 11 this year, and just 2 now from the 350 mark in stakes wins in Canada and the USA.
Won't leave Woodbine without again highlighting the amazing run by the teenager Slade Jones, grandson of the Barbados legend Challenger Jones and son of top jock Jono Jones.
50 wins already for the 16-year-old since arriving in Toronto 5 months ago, and after a magnificent triple on Saturday, including narrow wins by a head and a neck, he was at it again Sunday to complete 4 weekend victories aboard the 5-to-1 bet Executive Giant, trained by Barbados-born Jamaican Nigel Burke. He looked beaten coming off the final bend in 9th with lots of traffic ahead, but here's what happens next after Jones finds a clear outside path.
Terra Tattoo looms on the outside. Uncle Spider the rail, then Cool Band. Romantic Gamble finishing, looking for room. Supreme Action trying to get that run up the inside from the back and down the outside of the track. Coming now, Romantic Gamble after Terra Tattoo, and then Big Wharton, Uncle Spider, and Supreme Action in behind them. And now Executive Giant over the top of them. A mighty run. Executive Giant picks them all up to go away and beat Romantic Gamble.
A perfectly timed ride from Slade Jones. Executive Giant sweeping forward for the win in Sunday's claiming 10th race at Woodbine, scoring by 3/4 of a length, clocking 1:17.31 for the 6.5 furlong run. A 2nd win in 4 starts this season for Executive Giant, and 8th win of the season this for trainer Burke, who part owns a 4-year-old gelding with Paul Mouttet.
Still in Canada, but leaving Woodbine, a couple of hours drive south to Fort Erie. The Barbadian Christopher Chin's Husbands, formerly crowned a champion jockey this week, making it 10 times in the last 12 years that a Caribbean rider is number 1 at Fort Erie.
Aboard the 1-5 favourite Milwaukee Bay in Monday's final day first race, a maiden claiming event over a mile and 16th, Husbands is coming up here with left hand whipping on the outside, reeling in the front running Cloud Runner down the home stretch.
Milwaukee Bay comes up and puts her head in front. Hippie Chick tries to rally, but it is now the favorite, Milwaukee Bay. Cloud Runner tries to dig in. They're staggering home in the final furlong. It is Milwaukee Bay now going best, living up to the 1-5 promise. Milwaukee Bay and Chris Husbands open up the day.
Only 1 win on the card for Husbands, but enough to keep the 32-year-old top of the jockeys table for the 2nd year in a row, continuing a successful career. As a 16-year-old, Husbands won the 2006 Trinidad Derby aboard Sarah's Music and now has 4 jockeys titles among almost 600 wins in Canadian racing. The 2-time Assiniboia Downs champion in Winnipeg tops the 2022 Fort Erie jockeys table with 32 wins, 2 ahead of Melanie Pinto. 3 other Caribbean riders in the top 6. Jamaicans Mark Lee Buchanan and Kirk Johnson at 4th and 5th, and Barbadian Juan Crawford 6th. Crawford, 5-time champion Johnson, and the Barbadians Chris Griffith and Terry Husbands, also Fort Erie champions of the past 12 years, giving Caribbean jocks all but 2 of the Fort Erie jockeys titles in the last dozen years.
That's our show. Some Caribbean numbers now before we go. The win totals down a bit since the closing of the Assiniboia Downs season. Hastings in Canada also closed this past weekend. We've counted 45 wins for Caribbean racing men in the USA and Canada in the past 7 days, including the Jamaican Dane Nelson with a triple at Century Mile on Friday. Safi Joseph Jr. had 3 wins at Gulfstream Park. Safi, the reigning champion there, also had a victory at Keeneland on Wednesday. We've been at the track covering top stories and exciting races in the Sport of Kings. Check us out again next week.